Hello, welcome to another video. It's definitely very fresh, definitely very autumnal. Leaves are coming off the trees, but nice colours. So I've ridden out today. I've gone out through the Vale of Beaver. I've actually ridden past Cafe Alley and not stopped, not had a coffee. I'm heading out onto roads I've not travelled for a while. I'm heading out in the general direction of Zwift. Not been that way for a very long time. So I wanted to talk to you today about a subject which may be close to many of you's hearts. That is the subject of Zwift. So what I'd like to talk about is 5 reasons not to do Zwift coming up. Reason number 1, it can actually get chuffing expensive. By the time you've bought even a mid-range smart trainer, you could be looking at anything from £400 to £800. You can spend considerably more. And then you've got a monthly subscription to Zwift. And then if you're doing a lot of miles indoors, it does make sense to have a training wheel on the back with a specific tyre. And depending on what equipment you've got, you may need a laptop, you may need a stand to put a laptop or an iPad on so you can see yourself Zwifting. You'll probably need a mat to go under you to catch all the sweat. You can easily end up with £1,000 just to be in mid-range equipment by the time you totted up all of those things that you might need. You can get a half reasonable bike for that. That's reason 1 that puts me off. Reason 2 that puts me off is the potential disruption of home life. A lot of people will have what they jokingly, laughingly refer to as a pain cave. I don't really want a pain cave in the house. I don't want to lose a room, spare room, extra bedroom, box room, office. So in my house, I've got no room that I would like to put a trainer in. And also when I had a normal turbo trainer in the past, in the house, just get too hot. It's just crazy, just get too hot. So no, don't want one in the house. I'm quite lucky, I've got 2 sheds in my garden, 2 garden buildings, but they've all got stuff in them. Don't really want to go in those. I've got quite a nice garage, workshop, but it's got full of stuff. I've got all my bikes in it, I've got a scooter in it, just got stuff. It's where I fix things. If I put a turbo trainer up there with a bike on it, it's kind of taking up quite a lot of space. It'd just be in the way. So yeah, setting something up permanent to make the most of it, it's a lot of space. It just disrupts the house too much. So yeah, reason 2. Nah, not for me. Reason 3. I've spoken about this before, but I've spent a couple of years just actually making these vlogs, looking at what's around me, not riding so seriously and not getting drawn into racing and drawn into looking at numbers and trying to ride fast everywhere. I've kind of just been enjoying riding my bike, and I do worry that the competitive side of me on Zwift, I just get dragged back into that. I just be in a race and I just get drawn back into competing everywhere, you know, trying to catch the guy in front, meeting up with people that you know on Zwift, and then trying to race from your lounges or from your dining rooms or from your garages all around the country. I get that it can be a motivator in winter, but I'm just not sure I want to get dragged back into that. And I know the competitive side of me would do. I'd try not to. I try to just use it for general fitness, but if I see that guy in front of me on a screen, I'm going to try and catch him up. So yeah, I've tried really hard, as I say, the last 2 years. Don't want to get drawn back into that whole scene. Done with that. I'm enjoying riding my bike. My reason number 4, I don't want to get softened up as a cyclist. Sometimes, as we know, it can be quite hard to find the motivation to get out when it's cold and wet or windy, which on the one hand is a reason to ride Zwift. But if you spend a whole winter indoors, in the warm, riding on Zwift, does it actually soften you up, and then you find it even harder to go outside? I've never done it for long enough to be certain, riding indoors, but it bothers me. I don't want to be softened up. And you know, also when it's sometimes when it's really cold, it kind of grabs your throat and it can be difficult to breathe. Surely riding indoors, being warm all the time, when you do go outside, they're going to make that even harder to adjust to and to do, and to actually find motivation to get outside. So yeah, that's my reason number 4 why I don't really want to Zwift. Other than one jerk that passed me really close, drivers have been very courteous today. That fella that just went past me, he went past very wide, he even used his indicators to get back in. It's a good driver. Good driving, sir. I applaud you. Reason number 5 for not riding Zwift. I'm currently working from home. A lot of businesses are starting to restrict back now. There's a bit of advice again to work from home if you can. Some organisations are cancelling in-person meetings. So although I am doing some business meetings in person, in the main I'm working from home. So 2 or 3 mornings of the week I'm up at 6. I may edit some videos first thing, or I may do some work. It's really easy to get stuck into just being in the office at home. I'm lucky because I've got a proper office at home. So I've got everything I need to work efficiently and comfortably. I'm not uncomfortable, I'm not working from a dining room table as many people are in lockdown. But it does mean I'm in the house. I'm not getting out. And for my mental health, for everybody's mental health, we need fresh air. So I don't really want to stop work, have something to eat, or just go straight on to an indoor trainer in the shed, in the garage, in the house, wherever. Because all of a sudden, it can be quite easy to not see the sun or to not get fresh air. And we need fresh air. I'd rather just do 10 miles on my bike on an evening in the dark than to sit indoors riding Zwift. Outdoors is free, fresh air is really good for you, and that's what I'd rather do. I don't want to spend any longer indoors than I really need. And again, I'm quite lucky because I've got a good cycle network around me. Even in the dark, I can go and do 10 miles on an evening and actually never touch the road. I can be on cycle paths and along the river, then along the canal. So I am quite lucky in that respect, to be fair, but I would rather use that thing that's on my door than sit inside riding my bike. So that, my friends, is my 5 reasons not to Zwift. Now I must make it clear, that's just my reasons. Your reasons to do Zwift might be really good reasons, and I totally get it. And if I'm totally honest, the last few weeks I've been really tempted to buy a smart trainer and do Zwift, and I keep coming back in my mind to all those reasons above. I've probably got 3 or 4 reasons, 5 reasons equally why I should do Zwift, why I would do Zwift, and I am very tempted. But overall, on balance, at this point, I think no. A fair play to you if you do. It's not a problem. This is just my opinion. So, on the subject of Cafe Velo Verde, this weekend marks 4 years since I opened that well-known cycle cafe. What a crazy period that was. From deciding to open to actually opening was 3 weeks, which was a tad intense, and it's just over 2.5 years since I sold it. So it was bonfire night 2017. We had a kind of a soft launch. I say soft launch, we had over 100 people for a bonfire evening, which was a bit of a baptism of fire when you've never done a coffee shop environment before. And you've got 100+ people coming on your opening with food and drink. Yeah, well, that was a tad intense that night too. But yeah, amazing to think it's 4 years ago. Still #1 on TripAdvisor. When I sold it, we're #1, thankful. Still there. From opening, took a whole 12 weeks, you know, to get to #1 on TripAdvisor, which I always think was pretty incredible. We had a brilliant vibe, the model was right, targeted specifically to cyclists. Didn't really want anybody else, just cyclists. I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss it. I missed the whole vibe, the whole making coffee, chatting rubbish about bikes with your mates. I had this romantic vision that I was at when we opened. I was going to be making coffee and cake and talking about bikes with my mates. But it did get really intense with like queues to get in, literally queues to get in. 50% of the weekends were open. At some point there'd be queue to get in the door. And as Andy, one of my original baristas, said to me, well, that is all you've done. You just now got a shitload of mates. Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, it was a great period of life. As I say, I do miss part of it, but I definitely don't miss the early mornings, and I don't miss how physically hard being a barista and running a coffee shop is. It is definitely considerably harder physically than you would think. But we had some fantastic customers, some of which I've seen today. Simon, Steve, Tony, Gina, they were some of our earliest customers, and have all become pretty good friends. So we miss all those kind of people. So I'm heading back now towards Beaver. May just need to have a cheeky flat white at Cafe LA, you never know. So thanks as always for watching. Don't forget to click the like button, click the bell icon, it does really help me out. If you're a new subscriber, there's been a few lately, welcome. I'll see you again in a few days time. Bye for now, see you soon.